Good day to everyone out there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tough Talk for Tough Times. We're so glad to have you out there with us on today. The last topic we had, I got several comments. I think I kind of pushed some buttons on some ladies last time when we were talking about, if you want to have a real man, you need to be a real woman. But at any rate, in light of that, I got some more comments about how men tend to underrate women and how they do things, and so I thought maybe we should get a special guest on today. So I'm happy to have with us Anita McLean. I consider her to be an expert in several areas. She has served as a psychiatric nurse. She's served in the public health community. She's served in schools, and so she has a broad base of knowledge on the family and the effects that the family has. And so what I want to talk about today was something that interested me. And I'm gonna let you just say hi to the people right quick.
Hello, everyone. I am happy to be here with our Pastor Emeritus, Dr. Daniels. It's a joy and a pleasure.
And we thank you for being here. I was watching some stuff the other day, and the subject came up about parenting, if you go through a divorce, and who should get the kids, and the young lady that was talking, she was referencing Wendy Williams and the issues that she was having, with her episode and how that affected her. And she herself had gone through a divorce, and she said that if her husband were to sue her and take their child, she said that she would kill him. And I found that to be an interesting thing for her to say. And I'm sure there are other women that share that sentiment. And the problem I have with that is this. I'm trying to figure out, why would a woman feel like she has an inalienable right to have the kids? Can you help me to digest that a little bit, to say, why? Just be true, you bore the kid for 9 months, but when it comes to the child itself, you say he's the father, and if he's a parent too, if the child belongs to you, why should he pay child support? Because it belongs to you. If the child does not belong to both of you, then why should the woman automatically say it's my child and not our child? Help me to understand that logic.
Well, this is what I would say. Most women feel, though, they have carried this child for 9 months. Mm-hmm. And there is a personal attachment and a strong bond between that mother and child. Now, in most households, whether you're single or married, the mother does tend to spend more time with the child. Even if both parents are working, the mother tends to be the one that's cooking, cleaning, nurturing the child. And sometimes fathers have a problem of embracing kids and saying, I love you, while mothers hug and kiss and love on the child. So they feel like they are closer.
Well, let me debate that with you for a minute here, because I disagree with you, obviously. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if the woman is cooking and cleaning, she's not spending time with the child. She's cooking and cleaning, right? So that means she's not spending time with the child. She's cooking and cleaning. And she may be providing for the child, but they're not spending time with the child, okay? And so the average little boy don't want you hugging on him all the time. He want to go run around and play somewhere. So, and even if that is the case, does that confer ownership?
Well, especially when you say boys have an even closer attachment to their mothers. Even though you're saying they don't like that huggy, kissing all the time, most of them do. Because most boys are really attached to their moms.
Most boys want to protect their moms. That's the difference between protecting and attached.
I'm telling you from a mother's point of view, boys are more attached to their mothers. It's just reality. When they get older, they're more appreciative of their father. But in their younger years...
Well, but a child does grow, right? So
we're
not just talking about 2-3-year-old. We're talking about throughout. But here's my point. Here's what I'm saying to you then. And I want our audience to, to kind of see this. Just let's say he is more attached to you. Does that make you a better parent?
Well, I mean, I can't say it does because it depends on the parent. Everything revolves around the individual. Mm-hmm. Because you can have good moms and then you have bad moms. There's moms out there strung out on drugs. So I cannot say that's going to be a better parent just because he's a mother.
So then that's my point then. So why then would mothers, and I'm not trying to box you into a corner, I'm trying to understand.
Okay.
So why then would mothers just automatically presume, if all other things are equal, if you take my child, then you know what? It's going to be hell to pay. You know, why is that the overriding feeling of women in general? And you can use your own self. I know, you know, you don't have that issue, but I mean, sure, you have the same feelings about, you know, your children. So why do women assume that men don't feel the same way? Why don't women just recognize that the reason why we may do allow it to happen, walk away, is because time has taught us you're fighting a losing battle.
Oh man, that's two sides to that, right? I think a lot of women have seen that men have no problem picking up a new relationship and having kids. I know you may say that's stereotypical, but it happens. It happens a lot. So I think women's like, okay, you're not gonna take my kids to punish me because my kids is all I have. Most men rebound real quick. I don't care whether their wife has passed away. They rebound real quick with a new wife, or they get a new girlfriend really quick. They seem to readjust quicker than women.
Well, wouldn't it be better for the child? Wouldn't it be better for the child to be with a parent that can readjust quickly and get back to normalcy quicker, as opposed to a parent that's still stuck in depression, a parent that's still, you know, struggling to deal with life on life terms?
No, because kids still want to be with their mom. Their mom loves the kids.
But the father do too.
Well, I'm just saying, but the new, whoever that is with the father may not be as loving as their own mother.
So I get that. Now, that still doesn't mean the mother can't see the child. It still doesn't mean the mother cannot spend time with the child. But why would that necessarily say that the child should stay with the mother as opposed to going with the father and still visiting the mother? Because what you just said now, what you said, that the home of the father tends to stabilize quicker than the home of the mother if there's a divorce.
I didn't say that it was stable. I said he tended to find somebody else quicker.
Well, that's stabilizing the home. Because that by sheer definition, that's stabilizing the home. You said that the man recovers faster than the woman from the situation. So if the man recovers faster, whether he has a woman in his life faster or whatever, that's saying the home is stabilized quicker. And let me say this right quick, and I'm gonna throw some things at you, you know, just so we can kind of get an appreciation for where we're going. Is that, and I'm sure some of the stuff you are aware of, and some you may not have been, but if you look at statistics, right, here's what we know: that 2/3 of black families are single parent homes. You're right, single parent homes.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. If you look at who should get the child, you know, if you looked at it in an objective way, and I mean objective,
Right.
which judges, in my opinion, don't, I think we would agree that the better parent should get the child.
Yes, I am in complete agreement with that.
What if I could prove to you and our listening audience, our looking audience, that based on statistics, based on the census statistics, based on, there's a group that has studied this data, actually 3 groups have studied this data, dealing with parenting. What if I could show you that statistically, right, that it would be more advantageous to the child to be with the father than the mother? Would you believe it if I could show it to you?
I would believe it, but my question is, how many fathers are out there that's willing to take care of their kids? What's those statistics? I mean, is 90% of the fathers out there to take care of their kids? I would venture to say no.
I would say it this way, and that's a part of the thing we can talk about. The question is not, are they willing to take care of the kids? I think the other question would be, do they get the same support that women get if they have the child? You know, if a man has a child, do he get the same support that a woman gets if she has the child? Okay, and so let me.
Not with that one.
You know, right? So you let them germinate for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah, let it germinate. Now, here's the thing. Okay, most single fathers, unlike most single mothers, here's what we know: that most single fathers are single parents because of divorce. right?
Right.
Whereas most single mothers, at least we're talking about in our communities, right? So the black community, most single mothers are single parents because they were not married when they had the child.
That's correct.
Okay.
I agree with
So
that.
so that's a huge
Yeah.
difference in
Yeah.
span. So now when you look at that figure, right? Now again, I know y'all didn't like the last podcast. I got negative comments, and you sure ain't gonna like this comment. If most men become single parents because they divorce their spouse, and most women become single parents because they never had a spouse, wouldn't that suggest to you that the men are a little more responsible?
No. No, 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 no. Because the men who are out there, I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm not. But the men who are out there having 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 kids with different women,
Right.
they're irresponsible. They're just as irresponsible as the woman. So I see equal irresponsibility there. He's irresponsible because he's not taking care of the first 2 kids. Yes, the woman should have stopped after the first one, but you know, guys sugar talk you and tell you all kind of stuff, make you think they're gonna be there. Then they can move on, have another 2, 3 kids with someone else. Sugar talk that girl, and she thinks, hey, oh yeah, he gonna be the one. He gonna marry me. I'm gonna be the one. Then he moves on. I see a shared irresponsibility on both sides.
Where is the learning curve?
The learning curve,
If
to me,
if
you
the
have
man-
the ones who say, no, I'm going to be married, I'm going to be in a stable relationship. Then you have on the other end of the spectrums, the ones who we consider, they just not thinking ahead. They're just thinking about the here and now. This is what I know. This is all I know. All I know is, you know, he's my man. We're gonna have these kids. It's okay to not be married.
Okay, but that's my point to you, right? What I'm saying is this: most men, and again, I can't speak for all men like you can for all women, but I can speak statistically, right?
Right.
Most men don't want the woman to get pregnant. For most men, that's when you get the phone call, right?
Right.
And she's saying, "Guess what? I'm pregnant." And it ain't like the man is trying to get her pregnant. It's a guess what? I'm pregnant. So that's why I'm saying, if you look at it in that way, where's the learning curve? At what point does the woman say, well, you know what, we're struggling with this one. Why don't we, let it ride? I'm just saying, if you look at the big picture now.
And guess what? I hate to interrupt you. Most women don't set out to get pregnant either. And I know it sounds crazy because you're like, why are you not on birth control? Why this? But you think about a lot of girls when they first go to college, some of them they're virgin.
Right.
As soon as they get out there, they get wild. And next thing you know, guess what? They pregnant. They thinking for some reason I'm not gonna get pregnant when I have sex. So there are some instances that happen like that.
You're right. I agree if you only had one mistake.
Right.
But if you had more than one child, that means you knew. It was no doubt in your mind, right?
Right.
So I'm just saying is that all I'm saying, I'm looking at the big picture. I'm saying that when you look at men, most men are single because they're divorced. Most women, more in black communities, most women are single parent because they did not ensure that they were protected. I'm not saying the man shouldn't have protected himself.
Right.
I'm saying they didn't ensure that they were protected.
I mean, I can't argue against that.
So I'm just saying that if we look at the other thing, because the studies looked at 5 reasons why there's a fallacy that women make the best parents. It's a fallacy, and they looked at just looking at the data. Okay, and again, I know, ladies, you all gonna say I'm wrong, and you can say it all you want, but the numbers don't lie. Okay, now for example, it says that when you look at the data, and this was a data, this was 4,000 households that were looked at, right? 4,000 households nationwide, okay? And they were looking at our people, right? Among all demographics as far as socioeconomic backgrounds. So there are people below poverty, middle class, and people in the upper 1%, for example, right? Here's what they found. That in communities where, if you look at where the reason for the father being in a single household, the majority is because they were divorced, right? And for that reason, most of the fathers tend to be, number one, older than the single mothers. Okay? They seem to be better educated than the single mother, and they seem to have more financial resources than the single mother. In other words, in general, that's what they're saying.
I can believe that. You know what? That makes sense. It makes sense because the younger guys who are out here having these 2, 3, 5, 10 kids, a lot of times they're not educated. They're not in that middle income, upper income household level. They're mostly in the younger ones because they're, the mindset, because, I got friends of all, we all come from different backgrounds. But the mindset is, hey, I can go on welfare. Or you with the guy, and the guy like, well, you can go on welfare. You got these kids. This, government gonna take care of these kids. I don't have to take care of them. That's another mindset. So,
but I'm saying, but see, that's my point. Then, if the majority of when men are single parents, they're single parents, and they have more education, generally speaking. They have more education, generally speaking, and they have more resources, generally speaking. Wouldn't it mean that but that don't mean they get the child the most?
But what's the percentage of that?
You know what happens when that happens, though? Because they have more money, she gets the child, and he has to pay child support and spousal support.
But he's probably the one that's on marriage number 2.
No, we're not. No.
I'm just saying.
No. It says single.
He got money.
No, hold on. Back up.
Okay.
The statistics is talking about single parent, not a parent who has somebody else, who's married somebody else.
I say had.
Moved
on.
No.
Because you say typically older than the person.
No, here's what I'm saying. This is what the statistics say.
Okay, I'm trying to dissect those statistics.
In the preponderance of men, black men who are single parents because their wife and them divorced. Okay?
Or their wife passed away.
No, that's not the majority of it. I'm saying the majority. They say is because they were divorced, right?
Okay.
Now,
and what's the percentage of that?
Like 90-something%.
I'm talking about the percentage of men who actually have custody of their kids and raising them. It has to be less than 10%.
It's not that. I think it's 27%.
I'll be shocked if that's a true statistic.
No, it's about 27%. But I'm saying that's low because you know what? In the white,
I thought it was lower.
No, in the white community, there are the single men have custody more than the single women.
That's interesting.
Yeah, in the Hispanic community, it's about even. In the Asian community, it's even. And in other, the man gets the baby. So it's us where where the disparity is there. And so what I'm saying is that if we tend to be, both of us tend to be, let's say, 30 years old. Okay. What this statistic is saying is, generally speaking, a woman who is a college graduate don't marry a man who's not a college graduate.
Right.
So, and usually she wants to marry a man who has more ability to bring an income home. So when they divorce, he's the one that's making more money than she is. He's probably the one that was more educated than she is. That's what it's saying. So if he has more going for him, the court still say, give the child to the woman and just say to him, you're going to pay child support and you're going to pay spousal support. I'm saying that, to me, it doesn't bode when you're saying which one could be the better parent. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, I can't disagree with the parenting part because it's all individualized of who should be getting the kids. Like you said, sometimes the mother may be unstable, mentally unstable.
Right.
And sometimes the man may be mentally unstable. But you're right, the courts don't even get into the weeds of that to find out who exactly should be the best parent.
Right. And that's why I'm saying all things being equal.
Right.
If all things are equal, why is it that the woman feels that this is my child and I'll kill you if you try to take him from me? And not only does she say that, but everyone in the world agrees with her.
I just feel that people just know that women, and I know you're going to disagree with this, men in general, that women do feel like they have a special bond. I don't know why. I mean, as a woman, I feel like I have a special bond with my kids. And then if something happened, I guess I think just the opposite. I'm letting the child decide where y'all want to go at. If I know my husband is stable and he can take care of them, where do you want to go at? Do you want to be with me? You want to be with your dad? That's just me. Now, some people, everybody feels different. Because they may say, hey, I know my husband can't take care of them kids. He can't take care of himself.
That's what most of them say.
And he probably say, I know she can't take care of them kids. I seen how she run a household. So that's why I'm just saying it's so individualized that, you know, it all depends on where you're coming from, people backgrounds. And like you said, coming from working on a psychiatric unit, you know, you see so many backgrounds and so many family histories of where that thinking lies and what have happened to them in the past that makes them feel certain ways, right? You know, you had a history of mental or physical abuse, you may be more protective of your kids if you went through that. So you're like, no, I don't want him taking my kids to this other woman's house. Or
Well,
to
that's the other thing.
I know. I'm just saying that's just the reality.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I know it's a reality. That's the other thing that I think that merits, discussion.
Right.
Is that, and it is true what you said earlier, that men are more likely, and that's what the studies show, that men are more likely to bring another woman into the picture than a woman to bring another man into the picture. And that's absolutely true, but the studies show that the reason why the man is more likely is because another woman is more, she has a more positive attitude about helping the man raise the child than the man has about helping a woman raise a child.
Yes, I can believe
You
that.
know,
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I can agree with that. People I know, I can agree with that one.
So that's why it says it's easier for a man to get a woman to come with him.
Right.
If he has children, because actually she feels sorry for him. And her
there's a
thought
shortage
is,
of men too.
Yeah, and her thought is, well, I'm just going back with the studies say.
Right, I'm just going back.
The studies
The
say,
availability of single men that have some income. So of course, hey,
Right.
I help you.
The studies didn't say it because he, short single men. But what the studies show when they asked the question was, the women would say, to see a man taking care of his kids was heartwarming.
Yeah, because women are naturally nurturers.
So their thing
So
is,
it's good.
wow, I see him with his kids and blah, 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 blah. And he probably needs some help. And so they're more ready to say, let me help you out.
Right.
This kind of thing. Now, but on the flip side, the irony of it is, a single woman can get more resources from the government. A single woman can get more assistance from relatives, can get more assistance from her other female friends. So she has more, I guess you would say, more resources available to her than the man has. Because like for example, if one of my friends was a single dad and he called me up and said, hey bro, can you watch my kids while I do X, Y, Z? The answer is no. no, I can't watch your kids while you do, I got a hot date tonight. Can you watch my kids? I'm not going to be like, yeah, I got them. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. I'm like, no, you better find your babysitter to pay for. But a woman will say, go ahead, girl, and enjoy yourself. I got your kids. So here's the irony of it, is that while she has all that working for her, the studies looked at kids, those 4,000 kids that they looked at and said, well, what happens to those child? Because they watched them, from a toddler on up. What happens when they get grown? Which kids are more likely to go to jail? Which kids are more likely to commit crime? Which kids are more likely to be sexually active, right? Which kids are more likely to experiment with alcohol and illegal drugs? The astonishing thing is that other than experimenting with alcohol, they were dead even.
Wow, that's interesting.
Dead even. That if you were raised in a household with men, and even though the studies showed that men, as you said, were less nurturing, the studies showed that the men spent less time with their children than the single mothers did, right? But yet, as the kids matured, it was no difference in who went to jail. It was no difference in their sexual, promiscuity. It was no difference in, all that stuff. The only difference is that if you were raised by a single man, you were more likely to experiment with alcohol and marijuana.
I wonder why is that.
Probably because they see dad drinking. Because dad probably comes home, and says, who knows a rough day at the office? And boom, and mom probably doesn't, do that.
Mom has a rough day. I was going to say, mom has a rough day at the office,
No, I'm not saying mom doesn't have a rough day. I'm saying mom probably doesn't come home and pour herself a shot,
right?
While she's cooking dinner,
right? Right.
Where for a man, he might come home and pop the top over to a Miller, while he's doing something or while he's talking to the kids. Mothers, at least, again, I don't know this, but this is what the statistics show. Mothers probably don't sit around with a drink and talk to their kids.
No, mothers are more engaged.
Right, but a father, don't mean he ain't engaged.
I mean, I'm just saying, engaged differently. Like,
they
we want to know, and we want to look at your phone, and we want to look in go in your room and talk to you and pull things out.
Well, I'm not saying fathers don't do that, because I can tell you I did that.
You did, but how many?
Well,
okay, we won't go there.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is this. I guess what I'm answering the question is why do children raised by men, the only difference is that they tend to experiment with alcohol more. So what I'm saying, I think the reason why they experiment with alcohol more is because...
That's what they see.
Right, because a dad will be talking to you while he's drinking. He still talk to you, but he's drinking. So you don't see it as being such a horrible thing. Even though he may tell you not to do it, you watching him drink. You watching him smoke a cigarette, how he talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the woman might not sit there with her child and be drinking a drink while she's saying, well, how did your day go? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But your dad might do it. I'm just saying that's it doesn't say why. It just says that was the only difference.
The outcome. Okay.
The only outcome. But what it also said was that children that are raised by single men tend to end up tend to get more education. They tend to get more education than raised by single women. And I'm thinking it's probably because single women tend to have less income, less education. You may be living in the hood, you may be on welfare. Whereas with single men, you tend to live in the home, in a home, in a subdivision, or, that kind of thing. I guess all I'm saying is when you add that all up, let's say my interest is a child as a parent, and I go back to that movie Boys in the Hood, right?
Yes.
One thing that Angela Bassett played the role of the mother. One of the things that I thought the movie really drove home is that for her to have took her son and kept him would have been the biggest mistake she could have made.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And see, here's what I think that women do. In any time there's a custody battle, they always say to themselves that the man is not equipped to handle that child, that he's not equipped. My thinking is, if you thought he wasn't equipped to handle the child, why you get pregnant by him? That's my thinking. Okay? Because he is equipped. He is. Fathers can raise children. The studies show that. I think women are their own worst enemies. Ladies, I'm telling you this right now. I think you all become your own worst enemies. And I'll use my own personal life as an example. My mother, when my parents were divorced, her desire was, as you said, I want all my children, right? To me, she took the burden off of our father. And unfortunately for her, she was an educated woman. So she was fortunate. She was an educated woman. What if she had not been educated? What if she was not a professional? And she took all that burden on her, and with him, then, it's like, to
he's
me,
scot-free.
He's scot-free. To me, because it says that more women who are single-parent homes in the Black community are less educated, have less incomes, the thing they ought to be doing is saying, no, you taking these kids. You got them. And I'm going to get myself so I can take care of myself, and then I might take them back.
But I think, to me, it's kind of skewed because I don't think there's a majority of men out there fighting for the kids.
I don't care if they fight for it or not.
I'm just saying, when there's a breakup, I know those are the statistics there, but when there is a breakup, most men, I'm just going by people I know,
Sure.
are not saying, let me take those kids. Let me have the kids. We going to court over my kids. I think that's a small.
No, that's what
you
they
said
don't
it's
do.
27%.
No.
I think it's smaller than
No.
that of men going through saying, "Oh, I want my kids. You're not gonna raise my kids."
No, what I'm saying.
Now, rich guys might do
No,
it.
what I'm saying is that 27% have their kids. Is what it says.
Okay, but not fighting for them.
Well, here's what I'm saying to you. But see, fighting don't necessarily mean going to court. You might tell your spouse.
I mean, even requesting it.
I'm not saying it. I'm telling you. My experience is different from your experience. My experience is that black men in my socioeconomic sphere want their children. But what my experience is that they don't fight for their children. They don't mean they don't fight for them.
Right.
And so what they tend to do is acquiesce because their thinking is, I don't want to spend all this money. You know, and then the judge tell me what I know he's going to tell me.
Right.
Is that she going to get the kids anyway.
Right.
So why am I going to spend all this money? And I you know.
I mean, I've seen that happen.
Yeah. So it's like, why am I going to go through that thing? You know, I can tell you, I'm not saying, you know, granted, I know women love their children, but I don't think that they love their children more than, you know, I don't think my wife loves her children more than I love my children.
I agree.
You know, I don't think so. But I'd be willing to bet you if we were going to court, that would be the stance. And people would be on her side, you know, all the way. And if I took the kids, they'd be, I can't believe a man of God would do that to her and take her children. See, they would say take her children.
That's true. That is true.
They would say take his children. It would be her children.
That is so
and I'm
true.
saying, I think that women do themselves an injustice. I think that women should say, hey, these are our children. Here's what we're going to do. You got them. You make more money than I make. You got them. You know, you going to take them, or you take this one, I take that one. And you do it based on equity and also who factually can do the best job of giving the child what they need to succeed in life.
Now, I can't argue with you on that. I mean, I cannot argue with you on that because it makes common sense.
Right.
It makes financial sense. It makes mental health sense to do those things, because why take on all that burden? As you know, we've seen the struggle of single parenting and raising kids by yourself.
Absolutely.
Without having
you don't get a
there.
break. You don't get a break. Let's say you divorce and the kids are 5 and 6 years old. The average woman don't remarry until the kids are out the house.
That's true. That is true.
So that means you have spent I won't say most productive, but I'll say the years of your life when you should have been having the most fun. You know. And now when the kids are gone, you know, you're 45, 50 years old. And then, like you said, there's a shortage of eligible men out there because what? The ones that you want are married, right? Or they're dead. So listen, you know, there's so much more we could talk about this topic. And again, I know we might have struck a nerve for some people, but listen, this is what we call tough talk for tough times. And I'm just telling you, ladies, to me, you all can become your own worst enemy, you know, in that regard. That's just my take on it. But there's also what the statistics show, that just because you're a woman don't make you the better parent. It just makes you a woman. That's all it does. So listen, thank you all for tuning in today, and please share.
And I think we get food out there. That's why you can become your worst enemy, because you let people fool you.
Oh, food, FOOLD.
Food by the men telling lies.
Okay, she want to throw that in there like the women don't tell lies. Okay, all right. Okay. And men, you can get fooled by the woman getting pregnant thinking they can trap you behind. Okay, so, you know, as my mother used to always tell me, if she don't know who the baby daddy is, make sure you know who the baby daddy is. Listen, thank you so much for tuning in. And next week, this is what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to be talking about tough talk for tough times. You know, and I want to talk to you about why, if you are African American or anything ethnic group other than a WASP, that the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance is not meant for you. All righty. Till next time, have a beautiful, beautiful day and a wonderful week. And remember, tough times deserve tough talk. Goodbye.
Goodbye.